Well, hello. Thank you for tuning in and listening to me today. As promised back in January, in this little podcast, I'm going to be sharing a bit about my passion and dream for sharing God's love amongst older people on a more national scale. Some of you may know, but I have always had a big heart for older people. Ever since I was a little girl, I had amazing grandparents, but also through working for many years in the NHS as an occupational therapist, it's been a privilege to work alongside this very special generation. I have so much to learn. We set up Connections, our weekly group for seniors at Holy Trinity, well over 10 years ago now, after so much prayer. And what a journey this has been. I still have to pinch myself. It's been a joy to welcome hundreds of seniors week by week and gently share God's love with them through the love and care they receive at Connections. After much more prayer, we came up with the idea of using wonderful, well-loved hymns as a way of gently sharing the gospel and truths about the Christian faith. My husband Steve has developed and written 3 gentle evangelistic series now, comprising short talks on about 18 of our favourite hymns. These have been extremely popular and accessible for our older friends, locally here within Connections, but also on a national scale with the Daily Hope free phone line, which I'm a co-founder of with the Church of England and Christian charity Faith in Later Life. Hymns We Love has formed the cornerstone of the Daily Hope, and the feedback we have had from callers all over the country has been almost overwhelming. People saying how their understanding of the Christian faith and their realization of how much God loves them has dramatically increased. So many saying how they just don't know how they would have coped without the Daily Hope or Hymns We Love specifically during the pandemic. May I tell you about a dear older lady who got in touch with me after calling the Daily Hope for about, I think it was over a year during the pandemic. I'll call her Margaret, that's not her real name. And I've never met Margaret. She lives somewhere in the West Country. She somehow managed to get my number and wanted to tell me how much the Daily Hope, and specifically Hymns We Love, has been a lifeline to her. She lived alone, sadly, with terminal cancer. She was not connected to a local church. Nobody rang her or kept in touch with her. She was so lonely. We actually added Margaret to our list on the Cascade of Care, so she received regular goodie bags and newsletters like our older friends here. She had nothing otherwise. In December last year, just before Christmas, she called me again. Her voice was very faint, and she told me that she was dying. And in her words, she said, "I will soon be going to be with my Lord. I'm so weak now, but I want you to know how much the Daily Hope, and specifically Hymns We Love, have meant to me. I've always sort of had a faith, but Hymns We Love has helped me just so much. I know now where I'm going. I'm not frightened. I can't wait to see Jesus and be with him." And she then went on to say to me, "Pippa, I'm obviously going ahead of you, but when you get to heaven, please can I give you a big hug?" I of course said yes, and we both cried together. I told her that I couldn't wait to meet her too and give her that hug. How wonderful Jesus is, revealing himself to her in the last few months of her life. I asked if she'd like me to pray for her down the phone, which she was very keen for me to do. It was one of the most precious phone conversations I've ever had. What a privilege to know that this darling lady is with the Lord now. Hymns We Love was transformational for her, and my prayer is that it will be the same for all the other hundreds of thousands of Margarets up and down the country in their later years. And actually, Hymns We Love was worth writing just for her. My heart's desire and prayer for many years has been to give older people the opportunity to hear the gospel and discover how much the Lord loves them. This dream was fueled, if you like, in January 2020, so that was just before the pandemic, when I spent a few days away by myself with the sole aim of praying for God's direction and leading on how we could do this effectively. As I started to pray, it was really strange, I just began to cry. It was an extraordinary 4 days of praying and crying. And I felt the Lord say to me, well, what is this big prayer, this big dream? And I knew immediately what it was, because it was kind of right here. So I wrote down for hundreds of thousands of seniors up and down the country. Well, actually, it was all around the world, but I was almost a bit embarrassed to say that to people afterwards. It just seemed a bit preposterous, really, but it was actually for seniors all around the world, to be given the opportunity to hear the gospel and to discover how much the Lord loves them. From that day, I have not stopped praying for this. It's what wakes me early every morning. It is my heart's desire and prayer. God is incredible. His idea of using Hymns We Love on a free phone line has already started reaching the hundreds of thousands of older people. But I believe, well, I know that there are still hundreds of thousands of older people nearing the end of their lives who still haven't been given the opportunity, and they need to be reached. There is an urgency here. There really, really is. So the big prayer is to get Hymns We Love published and then available for churches up and down the country and maybe further afield to use with seniors local to them. We have had so much encouragement and endorsements from local church leaders to the Archbishop of Canterbury for us to get this off the ground. And my recent MBE already is making a difference in raising the profile of this. We have an extremely interested and excited publisher who is going to publish Hymns We Love, and they have contacts further afield. Of course, hymns are sung all around the world, of course. I can't tell you how excited I am about this, to think that this is becoming a reality now. We will be able to share God's wonderful love with hundreds of thousands of older people, not just in the UK, but even further afield. There aren't really any words. God is amazing, and His timing and His ways are perfect, of course. Wonderfully, Holy Trinity have agreed to release me for 1 day a week to focus completely on this more national work. This is not being funded by Holy Trinity. A separate, restricted fund has been set up to receive donations to support this work specifically, and a small terms of reference group is overseeing and supporting this, and me. I'm just so very grateful also that Denise Pavey has been giving Steve and me her time, wisdom, and help with all of this. She is a superstar. We're still working out what all of this means and what will be needed to make this happen. But for now, I wonder if I could ask you to pray. Prayer has always surrounded every aspect of our pastoral care and seniors work at Holy Trinity, and it is vital that this continues. Please could you pray especially that our thinking and planning would always be 100% in line with God's thinking and plans, and for His will to be done here. It does feel as if now is the time. Thank you so, so much. As some of you may know, I'm not the most technical of people. So I will be needing some admin support going forwards for this National Seniors Ministry work. There just aren't enough hours in each day right now. So if this is something that you are skilled in and might be interested in helping me with for just a few hours a week, then please do pray and perhaps chat to me about this. And also, if you would like to just keep in touch with news and progress and updates and prayer requests about Hymns We Love and National Connections, I would so love this. So please do email me or let me know and I can keep you up to date. I promise you I wouldn't bombard you with emails, just occasional updates. So thank you. Thank you. It truly does feel as if now is the time for us to really push forwards with getting Hymns We Love published and used all over the country and maybe beyond. It's all very exciting. Thank you again.